Okay, we are into the draft for the third and final game between Vici and Virtus.pro. Reminder for you at home, if you are just tuning in, this is game 3. It's also the final game of the upper bracket quarter-final, and will decide the last team to go through to the semis, either Vici or Virtus.pro.
So with I really feel like the A is the most important hero that VP can get. Yes, Spirit Breaker was great. You can rotate it with Slardar, I feel, if that gets through. So I feel like they have other options, but I feel like the A is irreplaceable.
So would you, as Virtus.pro now, you would give Slardar away if AA is in the pool, and you just trade 2 for 1?
Yes.
Okay.
I would take A with either SB or Queen
Doom.
of Pain or Lina.
Are you putting no value? Oh, okay, Darkseid's banned out. No,
You could leave Doom in. That would make for a really interesting game, actually.
Yeah, it would. Who
They
gets
could bank
to pick
Quap, or they could get Quap.
Because Vici Gaming is basically trying to stop VP from picking tier 2 heroes, essentially. Heroes up don't justify a first round ban. So they could just let a lot through, maybe, and then clean up whatever VP doesn't take.
Imagine the curveball if Virtus.pro first lets Doom through, and Vici then picks up the AA.
And then Virtus.pro pick Drow Visage first phase.
And then you gotta Doom.
So the Queen of Pain is gone,
Yeah, here we go.
and the Slaughter comes out.
Doom AA?
Or the Drow.
That's too early for Drow, isn't it? Slardar is also very good against Drow.
Doom kind of counters their G hero, basically, and I feel like they need that for winning fights, so
Do they want to pick the Lina up?
they're
in the first
almost
two?
forced to pick Doom, is what I'm saying.
They
I mean,
Doom plus Lina, then they don't get AA.
the most obvious thing right now is just Doom AA, right?
seconds to pick.
But it puts you out of, first of all, you make very obvious things right from the get-go. And you have little to no disable, so the enemy can just run away.
Reserve time.
Slardar is a great hero against Doom too. Just keep in mind.
Yeah.
Doom doesn't remove. Okay.
Okay, they go with the tried and tested.
I think this is the better plan. It solidifies what they want to do. It's not going to be countered. It doesn't force them into picking a core they maybe don't want. And it also, like, maybe they're not good at adjusting their draft to Doom, for example.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see this overlap between Virtus.pro and CDEC's way of playing, like their playstyle, and that the integral part of both teams' aggression is the Spirit Breaker. And we also saw, I think it was Garter yesterday, play an incredible game on
10 seconds.
against LGD.
Are you surprised to see that combination let through for a third consecutive game? At least one of them. I mean, it's the second consecutive game for that combo, but Spirit Breaker in all 3 games?
I would have been very surprised if VP had first pick and Vici let it happen. But because of the trade they get and the fact that they now get to pick into ban, not so much.
Yeah. So what did Vici pick up here?
I don't think they're going to get the Doom.
Do you think?
I don't think they're going to get Doom. It's
Yeah,
too.
and
It's too
we've only
counterable.
seen it played once together, Slaughter and Doom.
No longer viable when they have the AA and Spirit Breaker. It's 2 heroes that are not, like, Doom doesn't do anything against either one of them. What are you gonna just Doom the Spirit Breaker? You don't want to.
They're going to steal the Visage.
Ooh,
Okay.
I like this. I think Lil's very capable on many other heroes, though, so it hurts VP a little bit, but I don't think it hurts him that bad.
Visage has a really good synergy with Slardar. The familiars hurt
Radiant's back.
So the Brood's gone.
with Amplified.
There's going to be no surprises late in this game.
This time they don't have Darkseer. It's like Vici Gaming just has they have a playbook that says if we have Darkseer, don't ban Brood. If we don't, ban it.
Yeah.
That's just their second phase opener. In every single game, I think they've just banned Brood third.
Only 10 seconds.
Gyro gone.
Dyer's
Prevent Vici strong tri-lanes, I think, is their goal right now with the gyro ban.
Yeah.
You think they'll pick up a Spirit Breaker to disengage and play the Spirit Breaker and Earthshaker, and then play the Spirit Breaker as an off-laner?
I think if anyone gets
okay
Shaker,
against
it's
Slardar.
Vici. But I don't.
5 seconds.
It's not good against Visage, I don't think. It's kind of good against Slardar, but I think it's accomplishing the same thing that Spirit Breaker is. It's set up.
So the Wyvern goes instead.
Yeah, it's defensive, but... And they kind of need defensive against Slardar a little, but I feel like there's a better hero than Earthshaker. And they did not ban Lina. Quap is gone. And Vici gets the first pick, right?
Are you surprised the Lina didn't get banned?
Yes.
Because that's an obvious pickup for them phase 2, right?
The thing is, Wyvern is so exceptionally good. Like, Wyvern is a better ban for the heroes they have, and Lina is a better ban against the player. So they're prioritizing the strat over the ability of the enemy player.
Which is different to what they did in game 2, where they almost targeted G's hero pool.
Yeah, apart from the Lina.
Yeah.
That's very true.
I mean, Wind Ranger's not awful for a setup either. Power Shot is a very high damage nuke, does 270 after reduction, average reduction. And just a little Focus Fire plus that is about equivalent to what a Lina can do in a short period of time as well. Obviously it's not AoE as much, but...
Considering the success of Game 2, don't you have a hard time not picking up the Lina now?
It's very different when you don't have the Visage.
And there's the Slardar as well. Very good at running Lina down. So that maybe if they pick Lina, they do need Earthshaker, like you said.
This feels a little bit like game 2, where they were almost hoping that Virtus.pro would pick up the Lina, as if they had some sort of cunning plan to cut her out of the game, but they didn't. But now they're doing the same thing again.
But I think they have the better heroes for it this time.
Yes.
For sure. She's weak to physical, basically. The bats will hit her. I mean, she can attack them pretty fast, but Slardar initiates on her. There's can be follow-up. She could just die right at the start of the fight.
Andro.
Part of the reason they probably banned out Winter Wyvern.
I think this was a really good ban from VP. They took a lot of time to think about it, and they just end up with the safe choice, I would say. Because it can very quickly go wrong. I mean, you saw last game how strong Drow Visage is. You put a Slardar together with that, like any amplified hero is just strong.
I think
now
the
I
fact that
think they
they-
can get away with Doom, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the fact that they played it last time and it worked so well, and they know it works so well, means that they don't want it played against them.
If they can Doom Slaughter at the start of the fight, I really like Doom. But if Slaughter goes in first, then I don't like Doom. So preventing Slither and Crush is very, very valuable.
I think a Viper for VG Gaming right now would be pretty good.
Yeah, that's a very good pick.
Seconds to pick.
Magic resistance, survive the burst, basically.
Yeah,
It's also, you don't care so much about getting doomed.
It's true.
Doom keeps taking damage from your passive.
And with Scorched Earth as well.
It is probably the hero in the game that cares the least about Doom.
It's between Viper and a Razor who already cast ult and a Death Prophet who already cast ult, I think. Death Prophet has more value with her other spells, I guess, in some cases.
And takes damage. Well, never mind.
We had 6 games with the Viper in so far, 33% win rate.
Wow, that bad. I felt like Viper was decent in a lot of games. He does have a timer though. He works decent with Slardar because you can amp up Viper's damage, an aspect of him that most people ignore, but he actually does hit pretty hard. He's pretty susceptible to stuns though, and Corrosive Skin isn't like gonna make or break you not dying to Magic Burst. Okay. The reverse draft.
You don't take it, we'll have it.
This is interesting. Now, I'm thinking of G heroes that remain, and there are Storm, who no one plays.
Do you think that's a
And-
mistake, by the way? Do you not think they
pick
should have
Lina.
taken the Lina and left the Doom, knowing that potentially Vici aren't going to pick it up? I mean, surely it's less likely they're going to pick the Doom than the Lina.
Yeah, it gives a different type of information, though.
I hope this Lina's a support Lina, because right now she's far too valuable a target for the Doom compared to the other heroes that they have on VG Gaming, so that if you put her on the middle lane, Super's gonna have a terrible time throughout the game. So in that regard, I still hope they pick up the Viper for him.
Is this the Venge carry? It's...
Probably.
I like Magic Missile against Slardar. I think that's
Wait,
pretty
if
good.
this is a Venge carry, then it's a mid-Doom.
Oh, okay, so probably not.
Unless if they play...
They can play the
Breaker
Breaker
support.
support. They've done so already. They've also played a Slaughter support.
I think that's scary against Visage Solar. They could aggro try, and then it's weak.
10 seconds to pick.
It could just be support though.
Could technically play a 4-position Doom.
5 seconds remain.
I think this is the most interesting draft of the main event we've had so far. Okay.
There's a lot of mind games going on in here as well.
They're gonna go for
so,
Lich.
So it is a mid Lina.
so dual lane, off lane, Solar, Lich, I'm guessing.
I'm really worried about Super's game.
Especially if they dual lane. It's a little bit harder to cover mid, because you can't just smoke 2 and go
10
gank occasionally.
seconds to pick.
I mean, on paper there's some easy heroes to blow up in the A and the Vengeful, but there's also just so much to deal with the Lina.
Okay, they barely even hesitated to ban Lycan. It's like they've seen this before, or maybe some scrim information against Vici Gaming tells them that...
Vici could go for the Tiny as well. We've seen them play it without a Wisp, which is very uncommon, especially in the Western scene.
5 seconds.
I think it's
Hurry,
good.
Hurry.
I think Tiny or Viper both holds a lot of value right now for the Vici draft. There is of course an Alchemist, but there is an A on the Virtus.pro lineup, which makes me doubt that they'll go for it.
I think they'd be pretty good. Viper with Ice Armor. It's going to be really hard to kill for VP. They do have minus armor with Venge, I guess, and some damage amp.
Dragon Knight.
Yeah, that would have been a good pick for VP.
So what's left? Windranger.
Yes.
If you go back pre-nerf, this would be an instant storm pick for VP. But the nerf was pretty significant. I still think the hero is situationally viable.
In mid lane?
Yeah.
Or
Absolutely.
is a situation
But it's not a
when
good
the
matchup.
mid is weak?
You need even less counters against you to make it work. Yeah, there we go.
So I'm going with the TA.
That's one we forgot.
Okay. Really good against the Lich. She's got a few damage sources. Visage has a lot. Slardar has few. He'll be pretty survivable.
It's mainly for the lane matchup. They know it's a Lina mid, so they want G to win his lane. And if he doesn't win, they want to force Vici to help. But what can they help with? They can put Lich there and then they crush Slardar.
Yeah.
Or they can put Visage there and then they're offlane. What is that going to be now? Offlane Spirit Breaker, I'm guessing still. And then safe lane Doom for Illidan.
VP has a good mix of damage too. Lots of minus armor, lots of magic bursts. It's going to be hard for Vici to build. If you go BKBs, then they'll just kill you with TA.
I think Viper's incredible now. Okay.
Remember to log things out.
It's peculiar.
Man, Viper would have...
One of the
great.
more interesting drafts that we've had so far here, and it's all come down to the final game. Let's head back to Capitalist and Blitz.
Viper, Viper, Viper is what the analysts wanted to see, but instead it's going to be an Ember Spirit for Vici Gaming to round up their draft. Blitz, who won this draft in game number 3?
I actually really like Vici Gaming's lineup, but at the same time, Virtus.pro, they've got Doom, that hero. It's kind of...
I mean, it's a Doom, even after the nerf. It's still a Doom scorched
I
earth.
would
It's
nerf.
incredibly
He
strong.
still stops you from using items. You can't really move against him. You can't use spells either. The ability to... He takes away the ability to button press. You just like use your mouse, you right click and left click and just hope that you survive the duration of it.
Your keyboard's just gone, essentially.
Yeah,
but
pretty
what
much.
about picking an Ember Spirit into the Doom? Is that perhaps too much of a risk?
It's a hard counter in one way, but at the same time, it does well against the Templar Assassin. If you're incredibly fast, Super can get a lot of different ways to get out, and I think they think it's a better matchup than the Lina against the Templar Assassin, although I think the Lina actually does pretty well, just because you have the Fury Soul.
And you've also talked about the TA versus Ember Spirit matchup, and you feel like Templar Assassin oftentimes beats it. It seems Vici Gaming have enough confidence in Super with the poor man's shield that he's going to be pulled, as well as Tangos that he will be able to come out on top, or at least survive the laning phase and do well enough in CS that it will be worth a pick.
Yeah, I think two things I do want to point out is, one, that Vici Gaming decided to go for the Visage of their own. I think they didn't want to expend a ban for this hero necessarily, but because the fact that VP keep going to it for Lil, I think they finally thought to themselves, okay, we don't really have a lot of practice playing against this hero. Not a lot of teams do. And the Birds actually just kept messing them up in every single fight. So they probably thought to themselves, okay, we'll just take it, FY can play it. And the second thing I want to bring up is, yeah, this mid matchup is going to be really hard for Super, but if Fenrir decides to sit here and just harass out G, then it is going to be pretty difficult for G to do anything about it. Because if you look at the heroes, like, G can't trade hits with the Lich. He just doesn't have the attack range before he starts to level the side blades up. By the time you do that, the laning phase is already ended.
So in that case, VP may need to actually help out G a little bit. They're going to start out with the Bounty Rune being separated between the two teams. Vici Gaming did have the early counter ward laid out and was able to win perhaps that little bit of an exchange. The other ward will be placed by FNG, blocking out the pole camp. It seems he's going to be having some fun with DK Phobos up here in the top lane, where it's only FY so far. Looks like Burning's actually going to head down to bottom instead, and Ice will make the long trek up to top lane.
And it does look like Super isn't going to get a lot of help. Ice is here, but doesn't really have the best position for this, although he's going to get the angle on G, but shouldn't really be able to do anything off of this.
Hits the stun and gets the CS at the same time. But as you said, G is still going to be perfectly fine. FY finds the other ward. So that's going to be both of the obs wards taken down before the minute marker.
That's actually really significant, not just the gold boost from dewarding, but the fact that you deny so much vision. It means that you have to rotate your supports a lot more often just to check for things like the runes, just to get control like that, and it means that the rotations that they make into the safe lane are going to be even stronger. And Illidan, he's going to hunt for some creeps, but he's going to get denied pretty hard.
Now, we do have this ward from Vici Gaming. They did ward up the Magic Bush, blocking away a lot of Illidan's farm, so he's only level 2 right now as he struggles to find more Devour targets. Charge comes out. Ice will take a small bit of damage, but nothing severe.
Yeah, this is a fairly defensive lane from Vici Gaming because the Slardar is tanky enough to survive, and they don't have any immediate burst damage, especially with FNG being such a low level. But they're just going to do an entire lane rotation, like you said. Burning's here at this bottom lane now, where he should have a lot more success against Illidan. And the Lich is actually pushing him back pretty hard right now.
Shouldn't VP be rotating a support to the bottom lane to help out Illidan, at least until like level 3, where he has that extra boost in Scorched Earth?
Yeah, I think so. And interestingly enough, they're actually giving FNG almost all of the farm here at this top lane. Probably just trying to get on boots so you can do something. But at the same time, this would be an opportunity for DK Phobos to actually get some measure of farm. Or maybe they looked at the last game and said, it wasn't as necessary for this hero to get farm. What we probably just need really is levels. And he's acting more as the support than FNG is.
All right, the first hit bash. Grave Chill is going to slow down that attack speed, but DK Phobos, you got to get out of here. You don't have any help from FNG. Of course, he does have the charge, so even if they hit this nuke, they might just be able to throw out the Soul Assumption as well. It's going to bring DK Phobos low. He really needs to charge out of this scenario. The Soul Assumption comes out, obviously it's not going to be enough, and he will be forced into the healing cell.
And he forced them to use the maximum amount of time possible, and they used a lot of spells, and all it really cost them was one salve and one charge. And if you watch FNG at top, he's kind of got core-like farm right now. He's got 11 CS to back himself up, and this mid matchup, without the help of the Lich, we saw how much Super's actually struggling right now, which is why we were so surprised, right? That Fenrir didn't just immediately swing over here.
There is still the sad song of Illidan, who's just not getting anything after the Lich spending so much time in the bottom lane. The trade-off worth it for G, and Illidan will be able to come back eventually as he starts maxing out Devour. Gets all that extra farm, but Burning is already level 4. He's free to sit in this 1 versus 2 matchup. Still favorable.
Yeah, and once again, the top lane, it just kind of feels like VP have gotten the better of the exchanges when it comes to the laning phase right now. Because DK Phobos is level 3, Ice is top.
Charge! Ice barely gets the stun out in time! And that half a second was the difference between life and death for this Slardar.
Yeah, he most likely would have died there, but again, this lane is playing largely defensively, and at bottom, the Lich, his problem right now is that he's rotating so often between this mid and this bottom lane, because if he leaves the bottom, then Lil will just show up and start to right-click him down, but if he doesn't help out mid, then G just gets a little bit more out of this laning phase.
We have gotten to the point now where the Ember Spirit is a bit more secure because he has the level 5. The Flame Guard does a decent amount of damage, so he can actually maybe get a kill on the Templar Assassin if G overextends. And obviously the level 6 makes the lane even easier for him with that free escape. The bash. DK Phobos, can you get another one? Can't get the attack off. Grave Chill, too strong.
Yeah, but now they're starting to rotate things a little bit as FNG is going to be the one that doesn't take so much of the last hits, and now it's going to be DK Phobos. And I really like this distribution of farm.
They're going to go for G. They will be able to get the nuke out underneath the refraction, and it looks like Super, he's going to commit for this one, will be able to get the first blood. The kill turns around, though. Lil is able to get the pick off on the Ember Spirit in return.
Really nice rotation in by Fenrir. And this is something I wanted to see. I want them to dual lane. I want them to slow down G as much as possible when it comes to farm, because their Ember Spirit has to space create like crazy this game.
Yeah. Ice still only level 3, while DK Phobos as well as the Vengeful Spirit, thanks to a lot of the farm they've been getting. Both level 4 and can easily again go for a quick kill on Ice if he's not careful. DK Phobos getting a bit more farm priority, it looks like.
This Lina has been completely unpressured this game so far. She's already got 28 last hits, despite the fact that she hasn't had a support half the time in her lane. And you notice that Fenrir is just making the rotation. Mid to bottom, over and over again. And this is quite a confusing game for him because there's no real safe place for him to be. But you've got to just keep making the rotations in response to what VP are doing.
Super gets out that Benson Remnant and will start to go on to G. G actually may be dying here as the Flame Guard, the trap will help him get a little bit of distance away from Super. Now the turnaround, FNG will be able to hit the stun. Can they get the physical damage in time? Definitely not. He jumps back to his Remnant and away to safety.
Yeah, he tried to get the side blades there just so he wasn't so close, and the spill damage does do quite a bit, but unable to get him.
Still, he gets a regen rune in the top lane. That'll seriously help out G. Continuing to stay in this lane. The one thing they haven't done is stacked up the Ancients at all for him, or any of the Radiant hard camps, unless I missed him clearing through that.
I think for the most part, he's just been sitting in the lane and playing relatively even to the Ember Spirit. Like, if you're getting this much farm out of it, I think it's okay. But he hasn't had the opportunities to really go in there and stack. And because the supports have to rotate so frequently, from VP, it's been hard for them. And it actually looks like they finally adjusted to the warding that Vici Gaming have been doing game after game.
Yep.
And that was the second or the third game in a row now that they've placed that ward, because I believe they were dire all 3 games. I think VP understand that they have to protect their jungle a little bit better this game.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious that Burning had vision of that rotation from the 2 supports as he backed up just perfectly in time. So VP both countered that Magic Bush ward earlier and then the Rune ward secondary.
A lot of this matchup, I feel, between these 2 teams is going to be determined by the vision. That's something that we didn't really talk about too much, but in the first game, they were able to get such aggressive wards out into the enemy jungle, and they were able to play around that fact. So every time they saw the rotations coming in. But this time around, VP have been doing such a good job.
The 3-man smoke up now by Vici Gaming, and if they get this pick off, they can also set up an aggressive ward here in the middle lane, shutting down G even further. But FNG, he is going to be the one to take the game, but they just keep on running through. They will be able to get the stun onto G. Looks like that's definitely a quick pick off for Vici Gaming, no matter how FNG is able to respond.
Yeah, and they're making it a priority this game to slow down G as much as they possibly can, because they saw, even in the first game when they lost, he was able to have such impact, and in the second game, he just went off on them.
So the response by FNG to start stacking up the Ancients. So G will still have a road to recovery.
I think at this point you have to, right? He's getting a little bit too far behind right now, which is odd to say because he still leads the charts when it comes to last hits
Well,
tonight.
does have a Slardar on his tail. Only reason Ice was being that aggressive is because he had a DD. He'll actually hide himself in the jungle and TP back. He's afraid of the Doom right now. Doesn't want to get that level 6 ultimate casted on him.
Purge creep is picked up.
Does that actually take away sprint? We'll see. We're about to find out as Ice. Oh, the Chain Frost. That'll just blow up Lil. Nothing they can do about that.
Goodbye, friends. As if you're going to expend the Chain Frost there, you're definitely dead.
Yeah.
Lil's not a hero that's going to survive against that.
They knew the danger of the Doom responding and being able to get some sort of counter kill.
Yeah, and G's going to continue to go for the Ancient stack. I think he realizes that he can't simply rely on just the laning phase anymore. He's been punished a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And DK Phobos, he does have his ultimate up, but I think it's going to be relatively unlikely that they go for this.
Smart reads. They have the Nether Strike ready to go. Super gets blown up, but at the same time, Burning is able to wipe out that Templar Assassin. Throws the Laguna Blade out. DK Phobos managed to get the bash, and that'll be the kill onto the mid Super. But Burning, he's going to be swapped back into the Ice Blast, and that'll be a return 2 kills for FNG. Watch out, Core Vengeful Spirit, even if it is played by FNG and not Illidan. He's getting enough farm to make it work.
That's fairly significant, is even if they lose the 2 cores there, their 2 supports get so much out of that the Vengeful Spirit is already level 7. You've got the level 6 now completed on the Ancient Apparition, and at least they got something out of it, but still, their Templar Assassin is now a full 1k behind the Ember Spirit, and this is a reverse to the situation that we saw last game.
Doom straight up on Ice with a charge coming in from DK Phobos. I don't think they'll have a chance to be able to save him, but Vici Gaming may be able to respond with some sort of kill. They get the chains, TP out from Illidan, great response there. DK Phobos just needs to buy himself 4 more seconds to charge away, but Super is not going to give him that space. Claims the return kill as Ice falls.
They did force quite a bit of rotations, and this is going to allow G to farm out the Ancients during this time, but really good response by Vici. They did lose their Slardar, but this isn't one of those super poor Slardars. Like, Ice has made it a priority to get some farm, and he was a part of that smoking mid, so his Blink Dagger can still come online pre-15 minutes, and that's around when you want to see it.
And obviously his initiation is very critical here to allow Vici Gaming to use the heroes, their core heroes like Lina and Ember Spirit, who come online relatively early. They have this good 15 to 25 minute marker where they can be really good brawlers, particularly the Ember Spirit. So keeping that Slardar a little bit shut down from that initiation item is going to help out VP, but he's still got another 1,000 gold in the bank. Seems unlikely. The middle lane, the charge is going to come out. Super does have a remnant, bounce back, and that smoke gank will fail for VP.
Yeah, it was a little surprising just because you can't really go for the headline charge into that. He's always going to spot that.
Bottom lane, Ice Blast is going to catch Ice, does a decent amount of damage. They're still going to be able to blow up Illidan. No, they're not. The Chain Frost bouncing around will hit Lil, but they get the Doom to safety off of the swap. DK Bubbles caught by the Light Strike Array, burning. No longer having that Laguna Blade, can't challenge that hero. Hit back, nice response. The Purge of the Great Chill. They hold that boy in place long enough to get the kill, and Illidan might still be able to get out the last couple of nukes. No, it's not enough. 35 HP is what he survives on. And back to home, Illidan waves it all goodbye.
Amazing turnaround from VP. That swap just in time to save that Doom, and we saw the response right there. He was able to get the Purge off onto the Visage. Great turnaround by them, and good response overall, as this is going to allow the Templar Assassin to just continue to farm out. Really well played all around.
There is still top of the net worth for Super's Ember Spirit, who quickly jumps up to the top rune, snags that DD. And G will respond with a bounty rune at the bottom lane. This is probably still going to be one of those straight Desolator games, right? For Templar Assassin, it has been the most often picked item for TA, such a cheap damage source.
Yeah, I think so. Just because it makes it a priority for you to have to take her down, but in a game like this, it might prove to be a little bit difficult, because Super doesn't want to be just in the front lines, slowly ticking her down with the Flame Guard.
Yeah. Oh, this is an interesting choice. They're going to be able to get the swap into the charge, but Super still gets away. The magic missile was just half a second from hitting, and it hits him after the fact that he jumps the Remnant, but it does mean he gets away, and this also means that Vici Gaming will be able to claim Roshan, it looks like, without being challenged by VP.
Yeah, this is the unfortunate side effect of going for that gank mid. And Super being able to survive means that VP are going to get absolutely nothing out of this. And we saw how integral it was.
They reveal at the last second, DK Bubbles though not in a position to make that charge, and an Aegis for Super. Critical, as Vici Gaming will now potentially have stronger team fight than VP going into these fights.
VP is a type of team that does rely on the Roshan pretty heavily, so that they can just continue the aggression game. And they wanted to be able to play objective Dota. That's part of the reason why you take a hero like the Templar Assassin. It's because of how fast she can go for the Roshan. But with this, it's going to slow them down quite a bit, and it's going to allow this Ember Spirit to continue to push himself forward and make VP think twice about ganking him. That was a really cool gank attempt mid, though. That swap into the charge, because every time Super probably thinks to himself, okay, there's no way that this is going to hit me. What is this guy actually doing with his life?
This is the thing about FNG. He has this specialization. Even if he's not the one playing the Vengeful Spirit, he always knows how to actually set up the ganks correctly to be able to get the instant stuns off of his swap. But Virtus.pro, they are looking in a bit of hurt here. Vici Gaming actually find them farming up the Radiant jungle. Illidan would be a great target for Ice to find, especially. Illidan runs straight into them. Just managed to back out in time. Vici Gaming are going to start rotating into the middle lane instead.
Vici Gaming are doing such a good job of controlling the jungle once again from the Radiant side of VP. Like, they're able to just take control of this bottom area, make it so that VP have absolutely no choice. They've just got to give this up, and meanwhile Super with the Aegis, he's going to bait himself mid, because he realizes there's no reason for him to be there. There's no chance that they're going to defend this with the position that they're in, and Super's kind of just making himself a target and saying, okay, gank me. But VP are well aware that this is a waste of time.
So instead they just go for the trade-off. G will add his extra physical damage to claiming that tier 1 tower in the top lane. He continued their push out. Desolator coming closer and closer for him. That said, the Burning is about to complete his full-out Bloodstone, just needs another 125 gold. So if they can actually win a team fight off of that, we'll be in a pretty damn good position. Even just the Bloodstone by itself as a team fight item. If you're going to be targeting that Lina first, the death may allow the Ember Spirit to still continue going strong.
Yeah, the pure damage from the Aghanim Scepter is only really effective when you think that a hero is going to go for example, the first or second item BKB. But usually the magic damage alone from the Laguna Blade is still incredibly high. So if you can get the Bloodstone, continue to scale, it's a much better farming item than, say, just going for the straight up Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah.
You can pretty much spam out.
And that is something that Vici Gaming do have to concern themselves with, is how well would they be able to scale into late game, particularly since it seems like just from their composition that they would be very reliant on the Ember Spirit, who could be just shut out by the Doom.
I think the biggest problem right now for Vici Gaming is that they don't have a hero that can really go for the high ground.
Oh, little great response. He managed to throw out the cold feet to stop the aggression out from the Slardar. As fortunately for him, Ice was just 50 gold away from the Blink Dagger. That would have been an entirely different story had Ice had that item.
And right now, Super, he's continuing to try to press the tempo. And like I was talking about, you want to do this if you're Vici. You want to be able to take such a big lead because you don't have the best high ground hero. What are you going to do? Have Super just right-click a tower?
Yeah.
It's going to be incredibly weak. So you need to have such an advantage that it doesn't really matter that you don't necessarily have that hero that does a ton of physical damage straight up against the tower.
This is why when the Ice Blast comes in, Vici Gaming just keeps pushing forward, even if Illidan is here. He's got that purge to be able to remove the flame guard, so that's an advantage that Super will not be able to rely on necessarily. But it looks like they're just trying to posture themselves, hoping Vici Gaming will go back, but not committing to a hard defense. He'd much rather just spend more farming time. It's FNG's doing that at top lane, and the Desolator's now complete for the Templar Assassin.
You notice though, as soon as they take down that mid tower, they get so aggressive into the jungle, and this is the correct play at all times, is that when you take down that bottom tier 1 and this mid tier 1, you want to be able to get aggressive like this, but...
Cold feet, they might be able to hold FY in. The Ice Blast comes in, they're going to try and pop FY real quickly. Ice has the response though, gets the stun on the Lil, and DK Phobos just starts hightailing it to the right-hand side. Hoping to be able to get a charge away, should be fine unless the Chain Frost stops him, but he positions himself. Oh, sneaky. DK Phobos? DK Phobos tries to TP out. The birds are going to reveal. No, DK Phobos has been spotted. It was such a smart play, but Vici Gaming, they're smarter.
That was insane. For a second, I thought he was just scot-free. He was going to go charge to the bottom area, but Super was already waiting for him, so he's like, okay, I can just hide myself in here. It won't break down the tree line. Maybe if I instantly TP, but Ice, he wasn't going to get fooled by that.
4 minutes until the next Roshan. FNG has a completed out 4 staff now. So that'll help match the initiation of Ice. He'll be able to swap whoever goes on. Oh, but look at that. No, the Ice Blast! It's not going to hit, and that's going to be a wasted Doom. Ice's quick response time. It looks like they spotted out the Ice Blast incoming, thanks to the counter wards that are just layered in this middle lane. So he knew, okay, if the Ice Blast is coming, there's got to be some sort of follow-up.
Yeah, and he's just going to book it. Would have been a really good opportunity for the Doom to be able to kill that Slardar. That is a level 9 Slardar, but unable to do so. And Vici Gaming, it's not like they're super far ahead though. It's only 1k, and part of that is just because Doom is always able to keep up, and they haven't really been able to push that Aegis into more towers. They were only able to isolate out tier 1s. So VP, they're only behind by 1 tower really.
They've got a good amount of net worth spread between their heroes. FNG taking that 3rd place marker over the Visage and the Slardar. Their other 2 supports are looking pretty decent as well.
Charge coming in, instantly gets cancelled. I do like the distribution of farm a little bit better on VP, but when it comes to Vici Gaming's core heroes, number 2 and number 3 for them is going to be the Lina on the net worth chart. They're barely behind the Templar Assassin, and the next one up is the Doom, who's quite far behind both of them.
Yeah, and we're talking about an Ember Spirit who hasn't even completed Battle Fury, so his farming rate is only going to increase as he picks up that damage item. Is 3... No, it's actually complete now. Has both the Broadsword and the Claymore coming into him.
That's a really reasonable time for the Battle Fury on the Ember Spirit. Because usually this hero kind of sucks around this time.
Yeah, especially since he was feeling so much pressure in that middle lane, has died 2 different times. He'll start stacking up the Ancients for himself, and Vici Gaming are probably going to be looking at the next Roshan, but first, they're going to go on an excursion into the secret shop here. A 3-man smoke isn't going to find anybody just yet, but more and more aggressive towards Vici Gaming. They just do not stop with this vision game. Virtus.pro are going to be hard-pressed to actually find those kind of words. DK Fobal's going to make the charge, but there is the entry on the side. Two-man stun, leaving things off. Good force tap, and the Chain Frost still going to bounce over to G. DK Fobal's gets off his ultimate, but the Chain Frost is still wiping him out. Ice Blast comes in, but Super is just going to wait out the Doom. Ice will be the next target. Swap goes out. FNG hoping to be able to catch Super, but can't get away. Still, though, he's clip burning on the cliff. And this is the time for G to be able to take him out. And it's a blink himself to the side. Illidan now keeps on taking up all this damage. They'll get FY as well, maybe? Yeah, they got him in time. Illidan won't be dying, and that Slide of Fist brings him again. 30 HP seems to be just the lucky number for Illidan as he walks away from yet another team fight. Fenrir getting spotted out by G, but opts not to go for the trap set. And just claims, what was that, a 2 for 3 to the favor of VP?
I think that could have been an even better fight if the Chain Frost didn't continue to just bounce around the map.
Oh yeah, TK Phobos died so early because it bounced 3 different times to him or something crazy like that.
Yeah, they actually had opportunities to run away, but I think for a second they thought, okay, we're far enough ahead, and then the Chain Frost continues to just bounce on them. But still, that Blink Dagger reveal from the Templar Assassin absolutely terrorizes Vici. Yeah, you've got a lot of HP on Burning, but if you look at his item build, he doesn't have that defensive Yule Scepter like he did before. Delina did in the previous game. All he has is the Bloodstone, and he had to use that Suicide just to get out of there.
As VP, do you start considering picking up an early gem? Because you know Vici Gaming have been so adept at laying down aggressive vision, and it's not the traditional vision as well. It's always these weird laning wards that are tough to find. You'd have to purchase so many counter wards to find all of this.
I think the problem is who's actually going to hold the gem and who's going to buy it. Like, they don't really, they're not in a position where they're overflowing with gold or anything like that.
Yeah.
And there's no natural holder. So it's more of a luxury right now.
G, he's not able to get off the blink. The Urn actually kicked him down, and now he's going to be run down by Super. Swap comes out. FNG not going to save him. Still, though, Ice blowing up. The DK Phobos can get that kill. Ice Blast coming in hot, and will be able to clip Burning. DK Phobos hoping to be able to turn around and get the Nether Strike onto him, but Burning, he's too quick for that one. Gets off the defensive Yules and will survive.
Yeah, Burning just completely styles all over them right there, and with the Urn and the repeated hits, the Templar Assassin wasn't able to get out.
That was so close, though. It was the fact that he put the Urn on the Templar Assassin and barely managed to eat through the refraction, and then it take a Urn, hit the TA before he could blink out. They're gonna run into FY in the jungle. Sorry, buddy. He tries to go for the deny himself off of the familiars, but Illidan's damage is too much to handle.
Yeah, that was actually insane. He went down so quickly at that point. I think he just gave up on being able to survive there and said, okay, I'll try to go for the deny. But that was still a Doom expended, and this is going to allow Vici to get a little bit more aggressive into the jungle. There's not as much for them to fear. And I do like the Doom has still kept the Purge, because he realizes that Super's Flame Guard is going to hurt the Templar Assassin quite a bit in these fights.
Yeah. Ice. Oh, blinking it. Not the blink you wanted, though, Ice. He wanted to just get some aggressive vision up, but the Nether Strike will catch him out. They'll still get a chain out. Chain bounce around. Oh, actually went out DK Phobos. That's not going to be the chain they really wanted, but Illidan dropped low. Good force tap. Burning going to be the target. The Ice Path. Oh, they swap him back in. They will be able to clip him with that one. Laguna Blake gets laid up, but DK Phobos also surviving. Super going on to FNG. The new comes out from the Vici,
he's still not dead.
He bounces himself back. He's got to retreat out from here, but Lil keeps on going. G hoping to be able to catch up. Blink forward and takes out Super. That's going to be another one down. FY manages barely get a support kill. Ancient Apparition does fall, but VP take control of a huge fight right in front of the Roshan pit.
And this is the strength right now of Illidan, because they can't really stop this frontline tank for their VP right now, and at the same time, G just goes in FNG with the perfect bait. You notice that he just pushes himself further and further into Vici's line of sight, and Vici thinks to themselves, okay, we're going to commit for this. They're not able to get anybody but the AA.
Oh, Vici Gaming, they've done this before. Ice going to try and make the initiation, but no, this time around, DK Phobos gets on the charge, and Roshan will go to G. Still, though, they had to sacrifice the Spirit Breaker. Super has his Flame Guard immediately taken away from him, and FNG has the opportunity stunned, but not before the swap goes out.
Super does have the Spirit.
Controlled up FNG. Next level play still catches Super on the way out.
FNG doesn't even die.
Ice can't even get FNG. He's too much to handle. Ice barely gets away. But still, VP win yet another fight around the Roshan pit, and they're going to find Burning. The trap goes out, but they don't pursue.
I mean, this is all FNG's game right now. 2 fights in a row, he baits himself, barely has a sliver of HP in both situations, gets the Ember Spirit to commit. That just kills all momentum that the Ember has at this point. And Super's just got to be kicking himself right now.
People ask themselves, what is with VP's obsession with the Vengeful Spirit? Why are they getting the Vengeful Spirit farm in that top lane? Well, you see exactly why. They give just enough for the Vengeful Spirit to be relevant as a 4 position, tanky enough to be able to come in, swap out those heroes, and still survive time and time again in these team fights.
I mean, we saw how useful the Force Staff was. When the original engagement set up, he was able to force the Doom onto the high ground when he only had 500 HP. That's kill range for Burning. And Burning at that point then gets swapped in by FNG, immediately blows up before the Roche fight. And then from there on, he just continues to push further. And then at some point, he's at something ridiculous. He has like 100 HP, and then he starts to play the Roche pit area. And Super continues to try to pursue, gets locked in by the Templar Assassin, immediately gets blown up. And twice he does that to him. And Super, he committed the buyback as well for that one.
Yeah, he's down to 6 Bloodstone charges already.
Dire's middle tower
He has dropped a large amount in net worth. The Doom is about to take him over, actually, as the tier 1 tower goes down in the middle lane.
That's the kind of support play that you want to see. I can't talk enough about that one. The ability for him to kite like that doesn't even really have any DPS items.
Looks like Illidan, is this going to be the Shivas to help the initiation of the Blink Dagger?
Oh, it definitely is. Even the AC at this point is going to be okay.
Yeah, because you have this minus armor from the Desolator as well.
Yeah, the downside though of getting this purge creep is that it does cost quite a lot of mana.
Yeah.
So I can imagine him just going to go for the Shivas.
Yeah,
so
and then AC
multiple.
considered after the Shivas.
Yeah, just stacking up armor here is perfectly fine because he's not a damage dealer by any means. You just need him as a frontline tank. What ends up happening in these fights is that the Doom goes in, DK Phobos charges through everybody, and this allows G to just kind of come in a little bit later and mop up. But they don't even have to rely on that anymore because G now has the BKB completed.
With this Aegis, they will take probably both the tier 1 and tier 2 in this bottom lane. And now Vici Gaming's all that vision that they had set up aggressively, after 2 different team fights lost, they're not going to be able to take advantage of any aggressive plays. Probably going to have to sit back, farm a bit more, go for this next round of items. For example, FY, halfway to that Axe. They do have Force Staff now for the Lich, and we've seen how successful that's been.
Super definitely has to farm. The fact that he lost so much gold in that last engagement, dies, buyback dies once again, and they don't even get the Roshan fight for that. They didn't pick up any towers, so he doesn't really have the gold that he once did. That would have been a really good Daedalus timing for him, because if you remember, he had an 18-minute Battle Fury despite having a rough start in this game, and now it's transitioning into something like a 30-minute crit. Not even the full Daedalus, just the crystals alone.
And sure enough, VP will take this tier 2.
Dire's bottom tower is being attacked.
G, he's got a large amount of farm. He can even go for something like a Chrysalis himself. Doesn't seem like there's going to be any need for an item like an MKB. He's already got both Blink Dagger and BKB on himself.
Yeah, just continue to scale up. FNG, he's going to look for a swap target. Waiting from somebody for Vici to actually farm this wave out. But they're being so scared. Maybe
the initiation on the Fenrir couldn't quite get in range. Vengeful Spirit did not let it bend.
Burning got his TP cancelled, and they don't have Glyph either. I think you just take this tower.
Oh, Super. He's going to go for the tier 1 tower in the bottom lane, while VP keep on going for it. They managed to get the Doom on the ice. FNG hoping to be able to get swap up, perhaps a bit too far though. Doesn't have his Force Staff anymore, but he does have a Ghost Scepter. That just opens up the Laguna blade, extra damage. They will be retreating now. Vici Gaming, they're going to be able to catch more though. Oh, G turns around, gets that BKB with Ice Blast coming in. They actually preempted that one, but Burning still one step ahead. DK Phobos gets off the ultimate ahead of Ice Ice, immediately gets a bash, but DK Phobos, just like FNG, a bit too deep. They've taken away the range ranks, but now G's going to be caught on the way out, and he doesn't have a BKB. He's going to need to go for the quick blink out. But Super is right on top of him with the Flame Guard Light Strike Array, and sure enough, G also just gets destroyed. Vici Gaming, they hold very strong there after VP just get a bit over anxious, trying to end this game too early.
Yeah, for me personally, what really determines a Chinese team, more than just like the farming efficiency or anything like that, is just their high ground defense. Like, they're always willing to take that, even if they're behind in net worth, just because they know they can continue to bait you further and further in. And FNG, for as well as he played in that last fight, kind of slips up a little bit there by almost engaging a little bit too far. When he goes to the Force,
absolutely
doesn't really have the opportunity to swap out, Ghost Scepters himself, but instantly gets blown up. He's got to be a little bit more careful than that.
The gem now for the Lich. Vici Gaming, knowing that vision is all important, they're going to try and take away a lot of the aggressive vision that was set up by VP, since they were controlling so much of the map. They know it's too hard to just simply buy counter wards. Ember Spirit, who did complete the Chrysalis not too long ago, now has a Blink Dagger completed, knows how important mobility is for him.
He's got to make sure that he doesn't just get swapped straight off the bat.
Yeah.
And if he does, then he has time to react, hopefully. But this is really going to help Burning Out, who was one of the major recipients of that last fight. He's got 3.6k gold. Now he can decide to go for the Aghanim Scepter.
No, the Blink Dagger instead.
I guess
so
it's not
Vici
too big.
Gaming with 3 different blinks. Mass initiation on their side now.
Yeah, I guess it's not too big of a surprise because, again, the mobility aspect of the team fight probably means a little bit more. But I'd imagine you have to go for it after that, just because the Templar Assassin does have the BKB. Mm-hmm. Being able to cut through 2/3 of her life instantly would be so huge for Vici.
Do you think then that means a different kind of game plan for Vici Gaming? Perhaps more pick-off oriented, more split push oriented as well? Allow Burning to push aggressively like this and then instantly blink out and TP.
I mean, you can probably just continue to hold high ground, and eventually the Ember does too much damage in team fights with like one sleight of fist.
Yeah.
But when it comes to actually pushing out, it's pretty dangerous right now, because if one hero gets doomed in a 5-on-5 fight and you're outside your base, then you're pretty much hard committed. The Vici don't have the best ways to run away. Like, there's no, I think they have 2 Force Staffs.
Yeah, they picked up one on the Lich, and they've got the other on ice.
Yeah, it looks like VP, they're just getting ready around this road area. They're just making sure that they have control.
Yeah, but they've lost a lot of vision. This is still contesting a dire side Roshan. Vici Gaming have all these Blink Daggers as well. We saw what a monster Ice was in that first game. Being able to jump into the Roshan pit with the Slardar, it's going to be a pretty easy contest, I feel, for Vici Gaming.
I do like that Illidan's decided to go for the Assault Cuirass instead of the Shivas. He's kind of switched to more of a battle build now, opting to finally ditch the Purge Creep because he realizes that the Ember Spirit's just going to play back anyways. Go for the Alpha Wolf and better sieging items with the Assault.
Yeah.
But the Roshan,
would you say that
little
AC is maybe a little bit more of a late game build as well?
Yeah, I think you don't need him as hard of an initiator.
Yeah.
You just need him to tank up more. And you do want to kind of rotate him into a core, like you said. Being able to go for the late game to catch up to the Templar Assassin scaling. You don't want to just invest all into this mid game, because it's no guarantee that you win this.
It's going to be a later Roshan here, still another minute and a half until it's up.
I think that's the full data list completed now by G2. Maybe one of the most significant item pickups is going to come on the Ancient Apparition in that Aghanim Scepter. So maybe you wait a little bit if you're VP, but you have to fight around this Roshan timing. Yeah. There's no way that you're going to be able to go high ground without it. And even with the Aegis in the previous fight, they weren't able to do it.
Right. Right now, they can't just doom an Ice Blast a hero and expect it to die because the Ice Blast's going to fade, but with the Ancient Apparition completing the axe...
They might just run into a Burning here.
Oh, this is going to be 2, maybe no! Double blink out for Vici Gaming, and immediately the Blink Dagger pays for itself on Burning. And Super is going to catch Illidan here, Force Staff, trying to get ahead of those familiars. And VP, well, no, TK Phobos, he got spotted by the Remnant. Ice Blast is going to come in, and Ice, he's going to be able to stay ahead of that one. TK Phobos goes for the charge, but a Sleight of Fist kills him first. VP rebuffed once again after a 5-man smoke. Doesn't find the hero kill they wanted. Ice does get stunned up. FNG gets himself over the cliff. They start targeting Ice and will be able to get the Doom out on him. And they move forward for FY, but unfortunately his armor is protecting for the time being. Summons more familiars than God. He actually is losing time on his BKB, but a big crit comes out on Burning. Another one of those. The Burning will die. Kite him up. He's going to be controlled up. You'll Scepter Illidan can't play Redemption here. FNG managed to get the swap out. G will get out, but FNG, he'll die in the process. So close to getting Visage. Ice. He knows he can get more. If he could possibly just sprint forward and get a good sort of blink initiation. Lil sacrifices himself to make sure the core survive, but Vici Gaming coming back into this game, fight after fight, will now take control over that Roshan pit, which is just about to spawn.
Ice immediately running out, making it so that the Doom isn't necessarily as big. And Burning does such a good job in these fights, positioning himself, that he makes sure that he's not in range of G whatsoever, so that by the time G's BKB runs out, then Burning can isolate him out using the Yule Scepter, collapses on him with the stun, and And part of the issue there, I think, is that G used most of his BKB charge just chasing after a Visage that just wasn't dying.
Right.
That's a 30 armor Visage, even with the Deso.
Yeah, you can't forget about Great Creeper's Cloak, but the initiation to catch G, 2-man set from Ice. The charge is coming through, and that'll buy space for Illidan to start backing up, but I doubt Vici Gaming care about a tier 2 tower. They want more, and they're gonna find it too. DK Phobos, Light Strike arrayed up, and will die again. Vici Gaming, they are not stopping. They keep forward this aggression, not giving any space for VP to come back into this game.
Yeah, VP. They're starting to lose a lot of the momentum that they had once built up. Their Templar Assassin goes down in consecutive fights. And now the Aegis is going to go the way of Vici Gaming.
And it's cheese as well. This is big.
They're going to get clipped by the AA Blast, but this shouldn't matter whatsoever. Super ready dropping items in preparation for this. Vici Gaming, they've got to feel so emboldened now.
Fenrir snags that cheese for himself. And Ice already trying to get in a position where he can catch someone out if they show up in that middle lane.
Yeah, looking for somebody super preemptively. Burning's already there. Was in the jungle looking to invade with the Slardar, but he's just going to get out, circle back. It's almost got the Aghanim Scepter. And with that, it's going to be so scary for G, who barely has any HP. He heavily relies on the BKB for survivability. But once this Aghanim Scepter comes on this Lina, there's no real way for him to just jump forward like he has been in these fights.
Yeah, and because they lost fight after fight, the Templar Assassin's farm has been a bit stymied, and he's not going to be able to get that MKB, which means the Solar Crest pickup from FY is actually going to cause him issues.
For me, what matters a lot more in this game than anything is the ability for VP to collapse on the Burning, because they have to kill him. For how much damage Burning is able to do, he's not actually that tanky. He's got one defensive item, doesn't even have that much armor unless he's being frost armored. But he's been able to just outposition them repeatedly in these fights. And this isn't even typically a Burning hero. Usually you think of him as one of those cores that can just split waves, split push you non-stop. But lately it just feels like there's much more focus on these teamfight heroes that just rely on positioning. And he's been playing them really well.
9 experience from that level 3 Doom upgrade for Illidan. Vici Gaming, though, are the ones controlling this map through and through. Burning will probably look towards Boots of Travel next, but they found a free pick off on DK Phobos, and Burning is more than willing to expend the Laguna Blade now that it's level 3, such a short cooldown timer.
And something we should start to think about is the amount of Bloodstone charges that the Lina has. As the game progresses later and later, this item was nerfed a little bit, but the respawn timer is still pretty short. And most importantly, it means that you don't have to expend buyback for these high ground defenses.
Virtus.pro hoping to just farm through this period of time where Vici Gaming have control thanks to the Aegis and Cheese, but if that happens, Vici Gaming will just take objective after objective. Already claiming the first of the tier 2 towers.
Yeah, this is the right thing to do. Don't go for the high ground immediately, I think. It's going to be pretty difficult to just go and press forward. They don't have the best way to take down towers. Even Ice, no Assault Kuros on him. I guess that's the item I'd like for him to see at some point. Just so they have some way of sieging. Because as it stands, VP, they can afford to lose 1 or 2 heroes in the pursuit of splitting up the map a little bit and forcing Vici Gaming to kind of run around after them.
I could see that. For now, they're just keeping 4 heroes in this central area where they're both getting jungle farm and controlling that middle lane. While the Ember Spirit is the one to push out top. And probably rotate over to that top lane to claim that tier 2 fairly soon here. Super's got to address the bottom lane first. Of course, those ranged creeps being upgraded, there's always going to be a slight push at the bottom lane, but still not the same as melee racks, which VP were actually so close to claiming.
Unfortunately for them, though, Super, he's getting really strong right now. He was so far behind in the early phases of the game. But now he leads the game in net worth. The Lina.
Item after item just coming in for Vici Gaming. Now have a Vlad for Ice.
You just need cheap armor, I think.
Yeah.
Against the damage of the Templar Assassin. If you don't really have anything to follow up on the TA's damage, like the Doom isn't the best right-clicking hero that you have. So she's your only real physical damage dealer. And this is going to be pretty hard for VP if she's able to get isolated out. I think the move for Vici Gaming is to be able to just blow her up. Like force her to use the BKB really early, get rid of her refraction charges.
Right. This net worth advantage, though, is still very minimal. 2,500 to Vici Gaming. The experience is a bit more telling in how this game has gone. 14,000 lead for Vici Gaming.
Yeah, they're going to take down this tier 2. And this might actually signal for them to finally start to go for the high ground, because if they go for that top push, it would take a little bit too long.
Ice. Again, so aggressive. Tries to blink forward. Going for the quick pick off on someone who maybe is out of position as Vici Gaming move forward. In tier 3, already down to half health. And this is not a bad siege for a team that doesn't really have a good high ground hero. The best thing they actually have, it's not a hero at all, but the familiars.
You don't want to overcommit if you're on the side of Vici Gaming, because we saw the high ground defense can definitely change things, and it makes it so much easier for VP to fight around, because they can plan out their defense a little bit better around that chokehold.
DK Phobos has a pretty significant item coming in soon. If he can complete that BKB, they actually have no way of stopping him when he charges on, and that means that they can actually close the distance with Burning's hero. Control that hero, that Lina, a bit better. Even if it forces her to Yule Scepter herself, that's still something that you can force.
I agree. I think it's a really valuable pickup right now. Oftentimes, DK Phobos, what ends up happening is he just charges in, immediately gets it stopped halfway through, and then dies. We just haven't seen the impact of the Spirit Breaker as much as we did in the last game. And on the flip side of things, Ice, like the fellow offlaner, he's already up to nearly 10k net worth. And we've already felt this impact multiple times throughout this game. Like, his amplified damage is turning this Lina into a valued right-clicker on our team.
We see you.
Yeah, the same plan we saw from the Queen of Pain last game. Just coming a bit more. G, probably working towards an MKB as his next item.
Yeah, potentially. Could go for a butterfly too, but it's really complicated right now for this Templar Assassin.
Yeah. Doesn't feel like there's any one item that is actually all around strong.
If you were just playing against, for example, the Ember Spirit or the Lina, you could maybe get away with the Lincolns to dodge the BKB or the Aghanim Scepter from the Lina, but the problem right now is because there is a Slardar into the game that he can just spam out amplify damage. So that's no longer an option. And it's not really like they lack damage, it's that she doesn't survive anymore.
Yeah. And it's hard for Templar Assassin to go for certain items that increase your survivability. It's just not what the hero is really based on.
Exactly.
Ice. He wants to make the initiation on the G. They know the refraction is burned down. They're going to try and pop immediately. The Liquidify goes up and they get the swap. Ice blast over the top. The Chamber's going to bounce around. This may be free VP low, but G, he managed to take Burning. Will take out FY as well. Double crit for him. And he keeps on going. Wants to be able to get super, but another great initiation from Ice blocks down too. And there goes the fight. Vici Gaming will look for the last one. The Vengeful Spirit, though, is already safe back home.
And they finally sort of got the fight that they wanted to this entire game, being able to get on top of Burning as fast as they can. They blew him up, but what they forgot about is Super's actually the real threat when it comes to physical damage.
Yeah, and he's got such high amount of Bloodstone charges, plus he just bought Boots of Travel. He's going to be able to join his teammates for this push uphill, and this is going to force buybacks.
Yeah, with multiple heroes dead, it's going to be hard for them to hold this, even with the buybacks. There's no glyph available. Super...
Doom is going to be the first one out. Ice does get swapped in, but a good force step actually gets them in position. Now Burning comes in. Hello, that's going to be a two-man stun. Illidan goes down. She's going to be comboed up, and VP, they're just falling apart. That's two diebacks as Vici Gaming take control of the base. What was once VP's game on the cusp. Vici Gaming holds strong and take game number 3 in this winner's bracket best of 3.
What could have just been a 10k lead into Rax. Vici Gaming being able to hold that high ground despite the Aegis from VP. I think if VP showed just a little bit more discipline in that push, this could have been a different story, but Vici Gaming, they persevere. They're going to take this series 2-1 and continue to advance throughout the bracket.